back to the What's So Sustainability podcast hosted by Singapore Polytechnic School of Business in collaboration with Singapore Sustainable Finance Institute Asia. Today I have with me two very special guests, Miss Stephanie and Miss Nuryanee, which is an SP Alumni. So in today's episode, we will actually be discussing why youth should care about sustainability. So first and foremost, can I invite Miss Nuryanee to share more about her background?
Thank you. I'm Nuryanee Anisah. I'm 24 this year and I'm actually an alumni of Singapore Polytechnic studying in business administration. So currently I'm actually a student in NUS Business Administration as well, and as well as a running co-founder of a startup that's called Commenhers.
Okay, thank you so much, Nuryanee, for the introduction. So let's get straight into the conversation. The reason why we have Ms. Nuryanee here is because she is a very passionate individual in the sustainability space and went on to start her own company, Commenhers. So could you introduce Commerhers and how did Commerhers come about?
So Commerhers is a social enterprise that upcycles textile waste into new products. So we also work with local beneficiaries such as local housewives, elderly, tailors to actually be part of our production team. So we give them like a source of extra income and when they work with us. So Commenhers came about because when I was studying in SP, I was actually specializing in entrepreneurship. So we had to create like a business idea. And back then in 2019, it was COVID-19. I was looking at the news and I saw that thrift stores had to throw away their moldy clothes because circuit breaker, people can't buy this clothing. And my team and I did further research about the fast fashion industry and how there were many impacts like air pollution, water wastage, and even textile waste in Singapore itself. Textile recycling rate has fallen from like 11 to 4% in over just like 3 years, and I think that number is falling further. So Commoners is here to solve this problem. Firstly, to upcycle textile waste. Secondly, to advocate our consumers to adopt more sustainable fashion lifestyle. And thirdly, to provide ethical production. So that's roughly what Commoners is about.
Thank you so much for that introduction. So could you possibly share a bit more about what sparked this passion for sustainability?
We actually felt that, when we did further research about the fast fashion industry, there is a lot of negative impact about what fast fashion industry has caused to our planet Earth. So to go deeper in what I've mentioned just now, like water wastage, it takes about 2,000 liters just to make a cotton shirt. And when I was in NUS, I also went to fashion school and I also researched about, how, fashion industry or fashion manufacturers actually manage their clothing. And it is known that, some sweatshops, they have subsidiary or, partners that actually, they distribute their production of this clothing. And it's very difficult to actually see the transparency of how these items are produced. So some of these non-ethical production factories actually hire minors and they actually work in unsafe environments. So these are like the key pointers of like why we actually created Commoners, which is to develop a more sustainable fashion lifestyle mindset to Singaporeans and even offer corporates a solution to these problems. Firstly, develop ethical production by supporting local communities and as well as upcycle textile wastage that is currently going in the current state in Singapore. So yeah.
Okay, so I understand that Stephanie, you met Nuryanee through a sustainability event in 2023 in SP, am I right?
Yes, indeed. We were invited as panelists to share some knowledge about sustainability through a hybrid event, and I'm very inspired by Nuryanee's drive and passion towards sustainability. Hence, we have her here today to share more.
Wow, that sounds so amazing coming full circle. So to start off, let's ask both of you a question. What are the key environment and social challenges facing the world today, and why should youth be concerned about them?
I can go first. We read about them in the news: climate change, biodiversity, pollution, social inequality, etc. And tying back to my presentation that I did with the DPFK students on ESG foundations, I mentioned that we have to limit our global temperature rise to 1.5 degrees, and we only have 5 years left to hit our carbon budget. Also, climate change is real. We are seeing extreme weather events in Southeast Asia, and we definitely feel it in Singapore with the heat waves and torrential rain. In terms of biodiversity loss, in Singapore alone, According to Tracing Singapore's History of Extinction, published by NUS in Straits Times, we have about 37% extinction rate in Singapore over the 2 centuries, and it's predicted that by 2100, we might lose another 18 species in Southeast Asia. Lastly, only 4.3% of Singapore's land area today is covered by primary forests and older secondary forests. In general, youth should be concerned with these challenges because this will directly impact future well-being, opportunities, and health of the planet. And by understanding them now, youth can act as catalysts to spark positive changes and advocates for sustainable and equitable world.
Thank you so much, Stephanie. What about you, Nuryanee? What are the key environmental and social challenges that we face today?
I think there's quite a bit, environmental and social challenges of today, like textile wastage itself, like polyester, they are non-biodegradable, which means that it will be left rotting in like our landfill. And burning of textiles will also release like harmful gases, like which harms our planet Earth. And this comes like carbon monoxide, and even through the transportation of these textiles, carbon footprint is also something that we should care about. So there are many environmental and social challenges that we face, and it's not only from the science aspect, but the human aspect as well. Yeah.
Alright, thank you so much. So, how does understanding sustainability empower youth to become agents of change?
I feel that youths are agents of change, our future leaders. So understanding sustainability challenges help youth gain a holistic perspective on the interconnectedness of ESG systems. And to tackle these challenges, we need to develop a lens to view challenges from multiple perspectives, understand varying opinions from stakeholders, and communicate. Ultimately, we all want to live in a livable world in our lifetime, right? So if we want to see change, we have to act on it.
Yeah. And I think for me, by understanding the importance of sustainability, youth will create a path that's more environmentally friendly, which adds to the survival of our planet Earth. We are the leaders of the future, and we need to make good decisions. By being aware and by educating ourselves, we will actually create new solutions for the future generations to create better impact to save our planet Earth.
Thank you so much for those very empowering insights. So what do you think young Singaporeans like yourself can contribute to sustainability and sustainable finance space?
But I think Singaporeans can educate themselves about sustainability and sustainable finance through keeping up with the news, participating in interest group activities. I think volunteering is always a good way to humble oneself. There are many opportunities out there, such as beach cleanups, planting of trees, and even cleanups that involve diving. It's very interesting nowadays. More specifically, for sustainable finance, it's important to be aware and educate oneself about sustainable finance policies, what Singapore is doing in this space. As an individual, you can also explore options such as impact investing, ESG investing. I also encourage our listeners to read up more about green bonds and other finance-related terminologies. And if your values align with your companies or projects such as Commenhers, if you're interested in textiles, you can take a step to support them further, right?
Thank you for that. And I think for youths, it's very important to make wise decisions, especially knowing about sustainable finance, because everything that we support, everything that we purchase or eat, is all related to finance, because we are giving money and we somehow empower and advocate the things that we are choosing. So make wise decision. And coming from a textile, sustainable fashion angle, I usually ask my consumers to actually question the ethicalness of the supply chain that you're purchasing from, counting where are they buying these items, like clothing from, who are the manufacturers of these, because if they purchase from them and they're actually supporting something that is not right, then it actually empowers or advocates more of the negative impact. So I do ask my the youth to actually question where are they purchasing from, which relates to sustainable finance, which also relates to when they enter the corporate world and make decisions. And it is very important to know about the Green Plan 2030, and as well as the ESG, and as well as SDGs of the United Nations, because being aware of these things, they can make wise decisions. And we have to keep ourselves updated with the latest news and never be afraid to ask questions. Yeah.
That was incredibly insightful. Thank you so much. So, in both of your social circle groups, do you know other inspirational youth-led sustainability initiatives and movements?
I think for me, I think of Green Nudge. So Green Nudge is a youth-led social enterprise that promotes sustainable living and environmental conservation through education and behavior change. They partner with various stakeholders to implement eco-friendly initiatives such as beach cleanups. In 2023, they conducted 102 cleanups and removed more than 23,000 kilograms of trash around Singapore's shores.
And for me, I think being in a startup environment, I have many inspiring entrepreneurs friends. Just to give a shout out, like Moonbeam, which actually focuses on upcycling food waste or rice grains into new products and food like granolas, cookies. And they also work with beneficiaries like youth at risk to be part of their production. And I've also known Stickum, which is a STEM-focused business that empowers youth to learn robot learning through, creation of robot using upcycled chopsticks.
Wow. Alright, so before we come to the end of the episode, Nuryanee, could you share with us what you hope to see Commerhers achieve in the next few years and what kind of impact you intend to achieve?
Yes. So Commenhers is definitely aiming to scale further. We hope to be one of the main key players in Singapore, helping corporates achieve their ESG goals through upcycling textile waste, which is what we're currently doing, partnering with big corporates like currently like Decathlon, having long-term projects, because we believe that one-off projects is good, but to have prolonged effect, we have to have a longer partnership. We also hope to hire more beneficiaries, more local housewives, elderlies, and expanding our production network to other Southeast Asia countries, and as well as upcycle more textile wastage. So currently we've upcycled 1,500 kg of textile waste, and this year we're projecting triple the number, and hopefully in the coming years, maybe fifth or more. Yeah, so that's what we hope to do in Commenhers.
Alright, to end off, are there any last words of advice you have to our listeners?
I think for listeners, I encourage everyone to be aware about the social situations that Singapore is facing and around us. Be curious and always explore options, because there are definitely opportunities out there to volunteer or to even spend your time with or learn about the different small businesses such as Commerhers. What they're doing is very impactful and it's very impactful and meaningful as well. Yeah, so I think it's also good to be open to opportunities and look for ways that you can contribute in your passion.
Yes. And I think for me, for youth especially, I think do what you like and what you're passionate about, because that makes every day very meaningful. Even though you're running through challenges, it makes everything more vibrant for you. And take it slow, go at your own pace. Sustainable finance can be a little bit complex, but break it down to simpler, consumable way that you can actually understand it, and go at your own pace. You don't have to rush through it. And I think it's okay to make failures, especially in investing as well as making business decisions or even in your daily lives. And step out of your comfort zone. Go out and learn things that you don't know. Like, for example, I'm a student in business administration, but I do take initiative outside of my business and as well as NUS to actually go out and understand different sustainable topics like coral conservation, shark conservation, because somehow these things actually lead to one another, impact one another, like how textile wastage actually affects the marine life because of microplastic. So educating yourself, going outside of your comfort zone enables you to make wiser decisions and create greater connections as well. Yeah.
Okay, that's all we have for today. Thank you so much, Ms. Stephanie and Ms. Nuryanee, for sharing your incredible insights with us. So I'm feeling incredibly inspired by the conversations we just had. And I hope this episode has also inspired our listeners to take action as well. So stay tuned for our next episode as we dive into another topic as to another topic of sustainable finance. So until next time, and remember to invest in a more sustainable tomorrow today.